The first thing my CEO ex-girlfriend did after returning to the country was tie me to her bed and beat me brutally, just because 3 years ago her father came to find me, saying I was from the countryside and wasn't worthy of his daughter. Then, he framed me for cheating. Heartbroken, she chose to go abroad. 3 years later, I had already married someone else. Who knew my wife's white moonlight would suddenly appear? Without a second thought, she chose to divorce me. Just as I was drinking my sorrows away, I accidentally drunk-dialed my ex-girlfriend. As a result, when I woke up the next day, my whole body was tied up tightly with ropes. Just then, the bedroom door was pushed open. Having just showered and wearing a white nightgown, Su Kingru walked in barefoot. Seeing her, I was instantly stunned. My brain seemed to stop working. You? Why are you here? Su Kingru, by the bed, said with a cold laugh. This is my house. You tell me why I'm here. It's been a long time, hasn't it, my damn ex-boyfriend? A chilling killing intent showed in her eyes, making me swallow nervously. Coupled with the chain binding me, I said with a tremble, "We just broke up. We're not mortal enemies. You need to calm down. It's not too late to turn back now." Su Kingru casually picked up a feather duster nearby and whipped my leg hard. Her voice was cold as she said, "I'll ask, you'll answer. If you dare to lie to me, I'll throw you into the sea to feed the fish. Then I'll post everything, from your phone's browser history online." What a vicious woman. Seeing I said nothing, Su Kingru continued to speak. "First question, why did you break up with me back then?" Hearing this question, I was silent for a moment and suddenly looked up and said with a laugh, "What other reason could there be? Of course, it's because I didn't like you anymore. I got sick of being stuck to you every day." Following this statement, the temperature in the bedroom dropped abruptly. Another whooshing sound echoed. The feather duster came down hard on me. "You're lying." Su Kingru's eyes stared coldly at me. Then she took out a yellowed photograph. "If you don't like me anymore, then why are you still keeping my picture? You dared to go through my suitcase?" Tied to the bed, my eyes widened as I struggled violently. "That's mine. Give it back." Su Kingru took out another photo and threw it on me. "Second question, explain this picture to me. While you were with me, you were also involved with another girl and I never found out. It was a photo of two people, a man and a woman walking hand in hand on the beach, looking very intimate. And the man in it was me. This photo was given to her by Su Kingru's father back then. It was because she saw this photo that day that she chose to go abroad to further her career." I stared at this photo, my eyes widening even more. "Hey, Miss Su, falling into your hands is just my bad luck. Kill me or beat me, it's up to you. But don't you dare slander me. I, Wang Yu, may be poor, but I have integrity. I would never two-time someone." Well, the result was obvious. There were only two possibilities left. Either Wang Yu was lying, or there was something wrong with the photo. Seeing Wang Yu cursing non-stop, Su Kingru quietly put the photo away. The whole story, from beginning to end, she already had a rough idea. She just needed to verify it. Su Kingru walked straight out of the bedroom and went downstairs. She handed one of the two photos to the bodyguard standing at the door. "Find someone to investigate the authenticity of this photo. See if it's a product of some photo editing technique." Next, Su Kingru instructed the kitchen to bring the prepared congee to Wang Yu. But very soon after, the chef came back down with the congee. He said helplessly, Mr. Wang refuses to eat." He also said something. Su Kingru frowned slightly. The chef hesitated for a moment, then told the truth. He also said, "If you don't let him go, you better not walk alone at night in the future. Otherwise, if he catches you, he'll definitely spank you until your butt blooms." After hearing these words, Su Kingru, whose emotions had just calmed down, flared up again. She angrily took the bowl of congee and stormed upstairs herself. This damn man really needs to be taught a lesson. Elsewhere, in a villa, ex-wife Xia Sifei had just stepped out of her room and saw her white moonlight Shujun busy in the kitchen. The corners of her mouth curved up unconsciously. She felt enveloped by a deep sense of happiness. And there was a reason why Shujun could become her white moonlight. He was handsome, tall, and slender, with a standard physique and well-defined features. Although not as handsome as Wang Yu, he exuded a gentleness everywhere. Just then, Shujun came out of the kitchen with a plate of braised pork. He smiled and said, "Sifei, you're awake. Just in time to taste what I've made. It's all your old favorites." After Xia Sifei sat down, she expectantly picked up her chopsticks for a taste. However, when she tasted the piece of meat, her anticipation instantly vanished, but she still forced herself to swallow it. For the past 3 years, her stomach had long been spoiled by Wang Yu's cooking. How could an ordinary dish satisfy her? During the meal, the two started talking about old times. Seeing the atmosphere was right, Shujun quietly took her small hand. Xia Sifei instinctively wanted to resist, but she held back. She only heard him say softly, "Sifei, I came back for you this time. I've thought it all through on my way here. I plan to find time this week to meet your parents and tell them about our future. At that time, I might need you to." Before he could finish his sentence, Xia Sifei's phone rang at just the right moment. It was her mother calling. "You eat first. I'll take this call for a bit." After going into the kitchen, Xia Sifei answered the phone. Mother Xia's chiding voice immediately came from the other end. "You girl, why did it take you so long to answer?" Xia Sifei replied with an unnatural expression. "Mom, is something wrong?" "Nothing much. I was just thinking that you and Wang Yu haven't been home in a while and your grandfather is coming next week, so you two should come home for a family dinner. Yes, I know. Hearing this, Xia Sifei subconsciously agreed. She still hadn't figured out how to explain her divorce from Wang Yu to her family. If she told them the truth, her family would definitely not approve. At that point, she could only see if she could find Wang Yu to continue the act, stalling for as long as possible. Unexpectedly, these words were all overheard by Xu Jun. Especially when he heard Wang Yu's name, his expression immediately darkened. In fact, the reason he returned to the country was for the Xia family's wealth. His family had gone bankrupt shortly after moving abroad, and they were even saddled with a huge debt. Helpless, he finally thought of Xia Sifei. As long as he could get the Xia family's assets, not only could he pay off his family's debts, but the remaining money would also be enough for him to live comfortably for the rest of his life. As for that Wang Yu fellow, he was just a dirt-poor country bumpkin. How dare he compete with him for a woman? Lying on the bed, unable to move, I looked at Su Qingru stepping on me and swallowed nervously. I said weakly, "What do you want to do? Let me tell you, even if you get my body, you won't get my soul." Su Qingru pressed one foot firmly on my chest, holding the hot kanji, and said with a cold snort, "Didn't you say you wanted to spank me until my butt bloomed? I'm standing right here. Come and get me if you have the guts." I was just kidding, humph. You better be. Su Qingru couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with me. She sat down next to me and brought a spoonful of kanji to my mouth. "If you don't drink it, I'll beat you to death." Unable to resist, I had to endure the humiliation and drink this bowl of handout kanji. "You wretch woman, just you wait. Once I get out of this, I'll definitely show you what I'm made of." Although I thought that, smelling the faint fragrance from the person next to me brought a strange sense of peace to my heart. But this was ultimately just an illusion. Su Qingru and I were destined not to be together. The difference in our statuses was just too great. Su Qingru got off Wang Yu and casually called in the bodyguard waiting at the door. The bodyguard took out a pair of scissors and cut my ropes. He also removed the chain. Su Qingru stood aside with her arms crossed, saying casually, "You're free now. While I'm in a good mood, you better get lost. Otherwise, if I regret it later, I'm leaving right now." Hearing that, how could I dare to stay any longer? I hurriedly scrambled out of bed and ran out of the room without stopping. When I left the villa, the driver was already waiting downstairs. On the second-floor balcony, Su Qingru watched the car drive away with her arms crossed, her thoughts unreadable. The bodyguard standing beside her calmly reported, "Miss, we've investigated. That photo was edited. It was created by combining multiple photos. It's hard for an ordinary person to tell if it's real or fake. Who released this photo? And who was it that secretly sabotaged and separated her and Wang Yu?" Su Qingru looked into the distance. A clear tear rolled down the corner of her eye. "Wang Yu, this time I won't let anyone separate us again. Anyone who stands in our way is my enemy." The driver took Wang Yu to the city center and then returned. I looked at my watch. It was almost 10 a.m. I called a car on my phone. The place I currently work at is a public bathhouse. My working hours are from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's one of the few old-fashioned bathhouses left. Even in the morning, there are still quite a few regular customers coming for a bath. A girl of about 20, wearing an apron, was sweeping fallen leaves. Just then, a car approached from a distance and stopped at the bathhouse entrance. Seeing the person who got out of the car, Zhang Xiaoyue was delighted. "Brother Wang Yu, good morning." I smiled in reply, "Yeah, good morning." A short, fat guy, 1 meter 60 tall, appeared from nowhere. He smoothed his romantic hairstyle and winked, saying, "Xiaoyue, your brother Lei is here too. Not even a hello for me?" Seeing him, Zhang Xiaoyue's expression immediately changed. "You damn fat otaku. Can you please stay away from me?" The fatty clutched his chest in heartache. "Your attitude is such a double standard. Why are you all smiles for this Wang Yu fellow, but so cold and heartless to me?" Watching the two of them bicker, my gloomy mood immediately improved quite a bit. Zhang Xiaoyue is the daughter of the bathhouse owner. Because she wasn't interested in studying, she dropped out of school early to help with the family bathhouse business. As for this fatty, his name is Han Kang. He's one of my few friends from after graduation. This guy is a high-level, bona fide otaku. Both his parents passed away, leaving him a large inheritance. As long as he doesn't squander it, it's enough for him to live comfortably for the rest of his life. Han Kang followed Wang Yu to work at the bathhouse, under the nice-sounding pretext of experiencing life. The three of them went inside the bathhouse. Just then, two figures entered the bathhouse door. The bathhouse owner Zhang Dazhuang saw them and went out to greet them. "Welcome to the Moonlight Bathhouse. I see you two are new faces. Must be your first time here, right? We have public pools and private pools." Before he could finish, he was interrupted. Xia Sifei glanced around, a hint of disgust in her eyes. "I heard Wang Yu works here. Is he here? Just say I need to see him about something." Hearing it was a search for Wang Yu, the owner was stunned for a moment, but still turned and called inside. "Wang Yu, someone's here for you?" I turned my head doubtfully to look, and discovered it was Xia Sifei. My brow immediately furrowed. Why did this woman come all the way here? Xu Jun, standing next to Xia Sifei, disgustedly waved his hand in front of his nose, as if he smelled something strange. "Sifei, let's leave quickly after you're done talking. This place must be full of bacteria. We can't stay long." A bunch of naked people crowded into one pool, just like pigs in a sty. I really don't know why. In this day and age, places like public bathhouses still exist. As soon as these words were spoken, the surrounding atmosphere changed abruptly. Whether it was passers-by or bathhouse staff, everyone looked at Shujun with unfriendly eyes. Xia Sifei frowned even more, a little worried about the IQ of her white moonlight. She came this time with a matter to discuss with Wang Yu. Now, with one sentence, he had offended everyone here. How could she possibly bring it up now? Just then, another voice nonchalantly spoke up. I don't know if it's dirty here or not, but someone's mouth sure stinks. That smell is polluting the air. Han Kang cooperated by pinching his nose and making a gagging motion. You damn fatty, what nonsense are you spouting? Shujun glared angrily. He was just about to lose his temper when Xia Sifei raised a hand to stop him. She looked straight at Wang Yu with an arrogant posture. Let's find a place to talk. Hearing this, I turned and walked towards the break room next door. As soon as the break room door closed, Xia Sifei got straight to the point. My grandfather is coming next week. I need you to continue the act with me, just like before. As for payment, the 2 million from the divorce is still yours. In addition, I can also give you a stable job, at least better than serving people here. How about it? Xia Sifei confidently raised her head. She didn't think Wang Yu would refuse this mutually beneficial offer. For someone from the countryside, 2 million and a stable job were equivalent to becoming a standout among his peers. I refuse. So you do know what's good for you. Don't worry, as long as you. Halfway through her sentence, Xia Sifei realized what he had said. She looked at Wang Yu in disbelief. What did you just say? I pouted. I said, I refuse. Did you hear me clearly this time? I made it very clear the other day. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other. You have to deal with your family. That's your business. What the hell does it have to do with me? You think I need your 2 million? Don't you? Xia Sifei asked back in surprise. Faced with her disbelief, I couldn't be bothered with her. I just pointed towards the break room door. The meaning was obvious. Xia Sifei's pride wouldn't allow her to bow her head. Helpless, she had to stand up, still said with some reluctance, when you've thought it through, you can contact me anytime. You have 1 week to think about it. After saying that, she turned and pushed the door to leave. Shujun didn't follow immediately. Instead, he looked at Wang Yu, a cold smile on his face. Wang Yu, to be honest, I have to thank you for looking after Sifei for me for 3 years. But I hope you know your place. Stay away from Sifei from now on. A loser should have the awareness of a loser. After this warning, he adjusted his collar and strode out of the moonlight bathhouse. After he left, I quietly took out my phone, opened my ex-mother-in-law's WeChat, composed a long message, and pressed send. If I don't teach you people a lesson, you'll really think Brother Yu is a pushover. With Xia Sifei's mother's personality, I'm afraid that's enough to give those two a headache. As Wang Yu was muttering, a phone call came in. The caller ID was Crazy Woman. After answering, her distinctive clear voice came from the other end. Tonight at 8, it'll be waiting for you at Jiangcheng Hotel. Don't be late. Not going. You think you can just summon me whenever you want? Don't call me if it's not important. We've broken up. Besides, I'm a married man now. Please keep your distance from me. After saying that, I decisively hung up. I hummed a tune and went back out to work. Meanwhile, on the other side, in a neat and luxurious office, Su Qingru looked down at the disconnected call on her phone, her beautiful face looking a bit grim. She had intended to have a proper talk with this guy, but now it seemed her little Wang Yu was being a bit naughty. If he wasn't going to be good, then he needed to be taught a lesson properly. After dinner, Hong Kong and I left the bathhouse on our small electric scooter. Hey fatty, you'll be almost 30 in 2 years. Haven't you thought about finding a girlfriend to continue the Han family line? Immersing yourself in a fantasy world is nice, but it's ultimately fake. In reality, you can experience what true happiness is. Hearing this, Hong Kong, who was driving, asked doubtfully, So you've been married for 3 years. Are you happy? The beauty who came today seemed to be your wife, right? She and that foul-mouthed man seemed very close. 2 sentences. That was all it took to shut me up. This kid really knows how to talk. Every sentence hits a sore spot. No wonder he can't find a girlfriend. Just then, a familiar Rolls-Royce approached from a distance, closing in on the electric scooter at a visible speed, with no intention of braking at all. I immediately remembered the events of the day, and my face changed drastically. Without time to explain, I hurriedly told Han Kang full throttle. The small electric scooter instantly seemed to be pumped with primal energy and shot forward. However, even so, the Rolls-Royce stuck close behind. An electric scooter is, after all, just an electric scooter. A speed of 100 km/h was its limit. Helpless, we could only turn and dart into a nearby alley. Because the alley was too narrow, a car couldn't enter at all. We had escaped for now. Only then did Hong Kong say worriedly, Brother Yu, did you piss someone off? That car is worth more than my life. We can't afford to provoke them. We won't die. If I die, who will take care of my room full of wives? Seeing him like that, I comforted him. Don't worry, it's not what you think. It's just that the person in that car probably really wants to beat me up right now, which is why we had to run. Let me tell you, the woman in that car is a demon. She's in a bad mood right now, so she'll definitely beat you up too. Hearing this, Han Kang silently accelerated. The small electric scooter quickly shot out of the narrow alley, but before the two of us could catch our breath, dazzling headlights shone from both sides of the road almost simultaneously. 7 or 8 black cars had blocked the entrance and exit of the road. Thinking of the helplessness I felt yesterday when I was tied up with chains, I immediately made up my mind, gritting my teeth and saying, just ram through them. The worst that can happen is half a month in the hospital. As a result, before I could even react, the scooter's body suddenly shook violently. The entire small electric scooter flew straight into the air. It turns out there was a speed bump ahead, but it was hard to spot because it was dark. Luckily, Hong Kong used his body advantage to hold on to the vehicle's body. But I wasn't so lucky. My whole body was thrown into the air. A bodyguard beside me suddenly heard some movement. He unconsciously spread his arms. I landed steadily in his arms. Our eyes met. The atmosphere was incredibly awkward. I awkwardly greeted him. Hello, good evening. The next second, a rag was stuffed into my mouth. My whole body was immediately hoisted up. Unable to resist, I quickly looked towards my good brother with a pleading look. Hong Kong, who had steadied the vehicle, saw this scene and showed a moved expression. You'd even sacrifice yourself to let me escape this ordeal? Hachimi, you truly are my best friend. After saying that, he resolutely turned around and rode his small electric scooter away from the scene at full speed. I could only watch helplessly as he left. My eyes filled with despair. I really wanted to curse. You bastard, get back here. That evening, at a grand hotel in Jiangcheng, inside a VIP room. The table was already filled with delicious dishes. Su Qingru waited quietly. Soon, along with the sound of footsteps, the door to the VIP room opened. I reluctantly walked in, rubbing my butt. Hey, are you seriously sick in the head? I told you I didn't want to come, yet you sent so many people to capture me. Do you have any idea how much my butt has been traumatized because of this? Hearing this, Su Qingru glanced up at me and said coolly, if you know what pain is, you better listen obediently next time. Then Su Qingru told me everything she had investigated in the past 2 days, and also about what she encountered 3 years ago. The photo was fake. Having a new lover was also a lie. It was all a trap, orchestrated by someone else. Su Qingru looked up at me. I knew it. That's why you were so strange during that time. My father must have gone behind my back and said something to you privately, right? I said nothing, but I didn't deny it either. Su Qingru's father, 3 years ago, had completely crushed me, especially after I learned Su Qingru's true identity. That feeling of inferiority peaked. The precious daughter of the richest man in Jiangcheng, skilled in all the fine arts. She entered Jiangcheng University as the top student in the province. In the future, she would surely become one of the top people in the whole country. And what about me? I came from the countryside. My academic performance barely made it into the city's top 10. The only thing I was good at was a little bit of inherited medical knowledge. Su Qingru saw through my thoughts. She beckoned to me. Wang Yu, come here for a second. What for? I walked over suspiciously, and the next second, Su Qingru slapped me hard on the head. A crisp sound was accompanied by a tragic scream. I quickly backed away. Holding my swollen head, I glared at her. What did you hit me for? Su Qingru glared back with an even fiercer look. I hit you because you're an idiot. Why didn't you talk to me back then? If you had just made one phone call to me, I wouldn't have been so angry that I went abroad, causing things to become like this. Even though she was always calm, she couldn't hold back her anger now. A boyfriend she had trained for 2 years was almost hers, but in the end, her own father ruined it, making her waste 3 years. If it weren't for that, she might have already married Wang Yu by now. They might even have a child. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got, so Su Qingru decided to turn her rage into an appetite. She glared at Wang Yu. What are you looking at? Hurry up and come eat. I didn't dare to provoke her now. I originally intended to sit on the opposite side of the round table, but a murderous glare shot my way. I had to obediently sit down next to Su Qingru. I used my chopsticks to pick up a piece of stir-fried beef. Just as I was about to put it in my mouth, I saw the resentful gaze of the person beside me. What is it? Su Qingru said with a deadpan expression. Before, when we ate, you always fed me the first bite. Hearing these words, I felt a slight headache. I had no choice but to bring the piece of meat to her mouth. Only then did Su Qingru eat a small bite with satisfaction. I want to eat that pork belly. And that braised chicken leg, too. Aren't you afraid of becoming a fat pig if you eat so much meat? Is it any of your business? You dare call me fat again. I'll have my bodyguards string you up and beat you. My God, this woman went abroad for a while and turned into a complete violence addict. In a daze, I felt that Su Qingru and I seemed to have gone back to how we were before. It wasn't until after we finished this meal that Su Qingru was willing to let me go. She had her driver take me. She stood by the roadside watching the car drive away. The corners of her lips curled into a subtle smile. Oh, Wang Yu, I'll let you be free and happy for a while first. After I've dealt with my family matters, don't even think about leaving my side again. The bodyguard standing beside her remembered something. He said quietly, by the way, miss, I forgot to tell you something. This afternoon on the phone, Mr. Wang said he was a married man. That statement was true. He got married once during the past 3 years, and just got divorced 2 days ago. The slightly ambiguous atmosphere instantly froze. The surrounding temperature seemed to drop several degrees because of that sentence. The smile on Su Qingru's face vanished. She said with a cold face, now, immediately, right now, bring that damn man back to me. Early the next morning, in Xia Sifei's private villa, to celebrate Su Jun's return, Xia Sifei, and he didn't come home last night. Instead, they were at a bar with a group of Su Jun's friends partying all night. Xia Sifei, still a bit dazed, pushed open the door. An elegantly dressed lady was sitting on the sofa. After Xia Sifei saw the person on the sofa, she was so scared that she immediately sobered up. She stood frozen at the door. Sifei, what's wrong? Shujun was wondering why she was standing still. He followed her gaze, and also froze. Xia Sifei forced a smile onto her face. She spoke with difficulty. Mom, why are you here? You didn't even give me a heads up. I haven't prepared anything. Xia Sifei's mother, Zhang Shuqin, snorted coldly. She threw the divorce certificate she had found onto the coffee table and stood up. She scolded angrily. Why am I here if I hadn't come? How much longer were you planning to hide this from me? Who allowed you to divorce Wang Yu? Just for this hooligan? Xia Sifei, you've really outdone yourself. Neither of them expected Mother Zhang to suddenly come to their house. They were completely unprepared. Auntie, Shujun took a step forward. You, shut up. He was about to say something when Zhang Shuqin cut him off. She continued to look at her daughter, especially when she smelled the scent on the two of them. She became even angrier and scolded. Look at yourself right now. You reek of alcohol and tobacco. This kid just returned to the country, and you've already spent the night out with him. Are you trying to anger me to death? I'm warning you, Xia Sifei. Break up with this kid right now. If you two insist on being together, then don't even think about using a single cent from the family ever again. Zhang Shuqin's attitude was extremely firm. At first, when she received Wang Yu's message, she didn't believe it. After all, in everyone's eyes, Wang Yu and Xia Sifei had always been a very loving couple, a truly perfect match. But then he told me, their marriage was a sham, so she came to find out for herself. As a result, she waited all night. It wasn't until dawn that the two of them returned. The anger that had built up all night finally exploded completely. The son-in-law she had worked so hard to find was gone just like that. Who wouldn't be angry in her place? Perhaps because the person she loved was beside her. Xia Sifei rarely talked back. She said discontentedly, Mom, who I'm with is my business. Can you please not meddle so much? What's so good about that Wang Yu anyway? At most, he knows how to cook. And knows a little about medicine. What else does he have? A Jun returned from a top university. He's leagues ahead of Wang Yu, okay? Zhang Shuqin laughed out of anger. She pointed at Shu Jun, who was hiding behind her daughter. That's how he's been deceiving you. Do you know that this kid's family went bankrupt the first year he went abroad? He loitered around bars and clubs every day, working part-time. In the end, because he was hitting on multiple female students at the same time, he was expelled from school. Wake up. He's only after our Xia family's wealth. As soon as these words were spoken, the color drained from Shu Jun's face. He didn't expect Mother Zhang to know even these things. And when Xia Sifei saw his reaction, how could she not know the truth of those words? Her face turned pale and she was speechless. Before leaving, Zhang Shuqin didn't forget to warn her. Your father and I will not accept this boy. If you break up with him, you'll still be my good daughter. As for Wang Yu, I will do my best to salvage the situation, but if you remain stubborn and refuse to see reason, then be prepared to be kicked out of the house. After speaking, Zhang Shuqin snorted coldly, stood up, and left the villa. After she left, the living room immediately fell into a strange silence. Sifei, let me explain. Shu Jun wanted to take Xia Sifei's hand, but she silently avoided it. It was clear she was a little angry. Shu Jun knew, if he didn't do something, he really wouldn't have another chance. His eyes darted around. In his desperation, he came up with a plan. The next second, he put on a self-reproachful expression. I'm sorry, Sifei. I really didn't mean to deceive you. I just didn't want you to know about my disgraceful past. I was afraid you would despise me after finding out. Every day after going abroad, I lived a very hard life. To earn money for tuition, I had to work part-time at bars and clubs every night. Sometimes I even had to wake up early to help out at breakfast diners. I slept less than 3 hours. I did all of this for you. Your parents already didn't approve of me. Now that my family has no money, they look down on me even more. That's why I studied hard, to graduate from school. Only then could I make them see me in a different light. Hearing this, Xia Sifei, who was angry, started to soften. She spoke with difficulty. Then what about hitting on female students? Seeing a glimmer of hope, Shu Jun rejoiced inwardly. He quickly lied without batting an eye. That was all for tuition money. You know I'm not bad-looking, so some female students wanted me to pretend to be their boyfriend. But rest assured, I've always been completely devoted to you. It was just an act. I never did anything that crossed the line. So that's how it was. Xia Sifei breathed a sigh of relief internally. She believed his words. All right, I'll believe you for now. Don't do those things anymore in the future. If you're short on money, just tell me. As for my parents, they'll think of another way. Sifei, thank you. Silly, there's no need for thanks between us. As long as you don't betray me, I'll always be on your side. Boo-hoo, big sis. Everything I said just now was the truth. That Xia Sifei and I really just had a sham marriage, if I've told even half a lie. May I not die a peaceful death? You know my character well. Seeing that, I wanted to continue. A speechless Su Qingru raised her hand to stop me. She didn't understand how she could have liked a clown like this before. He's clearly handsome when he's serious, but he insists on acting so pathetic, after learning that Wang Yu had been married to another woman. That morning, Su Qingru had people bring him here. I also very honestly confessed the whole story. It definitely wasn't because of the two large men behind me, and it certainly wasn't because they were holding shovels and ropes. All right, I already knew about this last night. Sukingru rubbed her temples. Hearing that, I was stunned for 2 seconds. Then I stood up angrily. Damn you. You already knew, yet you still asked me, and you had me brought here so early in the morning. Do you have any idea that not getting enough sleep is very bad for a person's health? Sukingru stretched. She said in a lazy tone, All right, the morning's entertainment is about over. Don't you know how to prepare a medicinal bath? Go upstairs and prepare my bath water. Then go prepare breakfast for me. After that, you can go. This damn man actually went and became a full-time housewife for another woman for 3 years. This was supposed to be a benefit only she could enjoy. Now I have to enjoy it again. On what grounds should I listen to you? I glared discontentedly. I won't make you do it for free. How about this? I'll pay you 2,000 yuan for half an hour. 2,000 for half an hour? So 1 hour would be 4,000? My eyes lit up. Making money is a good thing, using skills to earn money. There's nothing shameful about earning money like this. Besides, this woman is loaded. Who in their right mind would pick a fight with money? Yes, boss. Please wait a moment. I'll go right away. Wait! Sukingru suddenly called out to Wang Yu, who was heading upstairs. What is it? I had just turned around when a fragrant scent rushed towards my face. My lips felt like they were covered by a soft layer of strawberry jelly. When I saw Sukingru clearly in front of me, my eyes widened instantly. I could only feel a softness against my chest. My whole body felt like it was in heaven. After a long while, their lips parted. At this moment, Sukingru had her arms around Wang Yu's neck. Her flawless, delicate cheeks were quietly flushed with a rosy hue. This is an extra reward I'm giving just to you, as long as you listen to me obediently from now on. She didn't finish her sentence, but it was as good as said. A moment later, I went upstairs, blushing. My steps were lighter than ever. The ingredients needed for the medicinal bath were already prepared in the bathroom. Unlike the medicinal baths at the public bathhouse, the medicinal herbs provided by Sukingru were of a noticeably higher quality, so the effects were naturally better. Very quickly, the clear water gradually turned milky white, emitting a faint fragrance. After finishing these tasks, I heaved a sigh of relief. I was about to go downstairs to prepare breakfast, when the phone in my pocket rang. Caller ID, Mom. I didn't need to think to know that my mom must have heard something, calling to question me. As expected, the moment I answered the phone, the familiar lioness's roar erupted from the other end. Wang Yu, are you trying to cause trouble, you brat? Your mother went through so much trouble to find you. Such a beautiful wife. That girl, Sifei, is so gentle and has a good personality, and you divorced her. What on earth are you trying to do? Even though it wasn't on speakerphone, the voice was so loud it seemed to echo throughout the entire villa. I waited until the yelling on the other end stopped, then I wiped the cold sweat from my forehead. Mom, this isn't my fault. Mrs. Lee on the other end snorted coldly. You better explain everything clearly to me, otherwise I'll charter a flight and beat your butt to a pulp. I had no choice but to recount the story of that year with Xia Sifei and our sham marriage agreement. Finally, I sighed and said, Mom, you see her as your daughter-in-law, but in her heart, she might not have truly seen you as her mother. Xia Sifei has always had someone she likes. Now she has waited for that person. Why should we butt in and make things more complicated? Our Wang family isn't that pathetic, right? The other end of the line fell silent. Li Hongling, hearing her son's words on the other end, was so shocked that she couldn't recover for a long time. Zhang Shuken had only told her that the young couple had a fight. She thought her son had made a mistake. That's why she made this call to hold him accountable, but she never expected it to be like this. It turns out that for the past 3 years, her precious son has been someone else's spare tire. When the other person came back, she ran off with them. If he didn't come back, she'd stay with her son. What did she take her son for? Li Hongling was furious. She cursed into the phone. I can't believe that girl from the Xia family is such a person. In the beginning, this marriage was arranged at the Xia family's begging. Turns out she was two-faced. Is she treating your mother like a monkey to be played with? And wasting 3 years of my son's time. This won't do. I have to go find them. Luckily, Wang Jianming, who had been eavesdropping, stopped her. He gently persuaded her. Don't be rash. What good will it do if you go now? Besides, I know old Xia's personality well. It's possible their daughter made this decision on her own. If you hadn't pushed our son to get married so quickly in the first place, this wouldn't have happened. Hearing this, Li Hongling shot her husband a dissatisfied glare. Wasn't I just doing what's best for our son? Who knew that girl was like that? Wang Yu on the other end also advised, Mom, don't go looking for trouble. What's past is past, just let it go. With your son's qualities, do you really need to worry about me not finding a wife? It's just a few years delay. Wang Jianming nodded in agreement. That's right, don't worry about random things anymore. Hearing the father and son say this, Li Hongling sighed. Only then did she sit back down. She didn't say anything more. At this moment, from the other end of the line, came a lazy female voice. Wang Yu, is my bathwater ready yet? Hearing the sudden voice, the husband and wife looked at each other. It clearly wasn't an illusion. Wang Yu's voice on the other end was a bit frantic. What are you doing in here? Mom, Dad, I can't talk anymore. I have something to do. I'm hanging up now. The atmosphere on the balcony was a bit strange. After a moment, Mother Lee suggested, "How about we go visit our son in a few days?" Originally not one to go out, Wang Jianming rarely nodded in agreement. In the afternoon, before 2 p.m., the moonlight bathhouse was already packed with customers. When Wang Yu stepped inside the bathhouse, who was lazily playing games at the counter, Han Kang showed a surprised and happy expression. "Hey, old Wang, you're not dead?" I was in a great mood, but my face instantly darkened. "I really want to rip that sexy little mouth of yours apart, about how you abandoned me and ran away yesterday. I haven't even settled the score with you yet." "Heh, you're fine. You just take your time playing. Give me the key. I'm going upstairs to catch up on some sleep." After getting the key, I yawned tiredly and headed upstairs. Yesterday, I was kidnapped by that crazy woman for dinner. I already went to bed late. Today, I was dragged out of bed early in the morning. I even had to prepare bathwater and then make breakfast. It made me dead tired. The second-floor hallway was extremely quiet. There was no one around at this time. As soon as I got to the second floor, I discovered Zhang Dezhuang lying on the floor not far away. His face was pale and weak. My pupils immediately constricted. I cried out in shock. "Uncle Zhang, Jiangcheng First People's Hospital." The doctor had just stepped out of the hospital room. I was about to go forward and ask about the situation. The doctor mistook me for the patient's son and immediately began to scold me. "What kind of children are you? The patient has a terminal brain tumor. We told him to come to the hospital for treatment a long time ago, yet he delayed it until now. The situation is no longer optimistic." The doctor continued to explain the situation. Only then did I find out that Uncle Jiang had been diagnosed with a brain tumor half a year ago. In short, you family members should prepare yourselves mentally. I've said everything I need to say. After he left, I pushed open the door and entered the hospital room. Zhang Dezhuang, who had been in a coma, had woken up. He was now lying on the hospital bed. His complexion was also a bit rosier. Seeing Wang Yu enter, the first question he asked was, "Does Xiao Yue know about my situation yet?" I shook my head. The situation was urgent then. How could there have been time to inform Jiang Xiaoyue? Knowing his daughter was completely unaware, Zhang Dezhuang finally breathed a sigh of relief. "I originally didn't want you kids to know. I didn't expect. When you get old, you eventually become useless." I couldn't accept it and spoke up. "Uncle Jiang, it's not time to despair yet. If you actively receive treatment at the hospital now, maybe you can still." Before I could finish speaking, Zhang Dezhuang shook his head. "I know my own body best. The people at the hospital told me before that I needed to stay in the hospital for timely treatment. But you know, with a problem in the brain, the probability of a successful surgery is pitifully small. Wang Yu, can I ask you for a favor?" I knew what he wanted to say. I nodded with difficulty and said, "I won't tell Xiao Yu about this, rest assured. But you have to promise me one thing too. You have to try the surgery. What if it's successful?" "Okay, I promise you." At the end of a workday, Su Qingru wearily rode back to the villa in her car. She walked towards the door, thinking to herself that it would be great if Wang Yu were here. Taking a sniff or getting a hug would surely be much more refreshing. After settling the family matter, I have to make him move in here quickly. Opening the main door of the villa, she discovered the living room table was filled with delicious dishes. I walked out of the kitchen wearing an apron and placed the last bowl of soup on the table. Looking at the 10 specialty dishes on the table, I nodded in satisfaction. Just as I looked up, I saw Su Qingru standing at the door. "You're back? Hurry over and eat." Su Qingru carefully looked at the house number. "No mistake, it's my house." Her footsteps immediately became much quicker. She walked up to the dining table, ignoring Wang Yu's reaction. She moved forward and hugged me tightly. Taking a deep sniff at my neck, her spirits instantly recovered by more than half. Even the fatigue from work was swept away. "Wang Yu smells so good." Very quickly, Su Qingru sat down at the dining table. She glanced at me. I gave her a look, picked up the bowl and chopsticks, and started feeding little Su. Su Qingru happily ate a piece of meat and said while chewing, "Spit it out, what's the matter?" With Wang Yu's personality, suddenly coming to my house and even preparing such a spread of food, it's clear he's run into some trouble. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so well behaved. I briefly told her about Uncle Jiang's situation. "You have wide connections. I want to ask you to help Uncle Jiang find a better doctor. That way, the success rate will be much higher." "What about the payment?" Hearing Su Qingru actually ask for payment, I was stunned and didn't know what to say. "Isn't this something you can solve with just a word? You're still asking me for payment? The thing is, you wouldn't even care about the few pennies in my pocket." The corner of Su Qingru's mouth lifted slightly. She smiled and said in my ear, "Equivalent exchange is the unchanging law of this world. You're not my man right now. Why should I help you for free? Or do you think I'm some kind of naive sweetheart who has to help you at all costs just because I like you? Then what do you want? You wouldn't care about anything I have." Seeing this guy playing dumb, Su Qingru blew a fragrant breath into my ear. "Stay here tonight. The bed in my room is quite big. It's a bit lonely sleeping alone. 2 people would be just right, Wang Yu. You wouldn't want Uncle Jiang to die and leave his newly adult daughter behind just because he couldn't find a good doctor, right?" A threat. A blatant threat. "I'm trying to have a serious discussion with you, and you're lusting after my body. I never thought you were this kind of woman." I stood up angrily. Behind me, Su Qingru asked curiously, "Where are you going?" I turned back and snapped irritably. "Where else could I go?" "Upstairs to take a shower." Su Qingru covered her mouth and chuckled. Her radiant smile was captivating. It seems Wang Yu still doesn't know about his family's past. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come to me for such a small matter. I'm really looking forward to his expression after he learns the truth. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but speed up her eating. After all, tonight she could finally enjoy herself. Early the next morning, a dazzling ray of sunlight shone on the bed. I groggily opened my eyes, and my eyes were met with a snow-white expanse. I didn't dare to look further. Suppressing the feeling of my blood boiling, I gently crawled out of bed. The entire time, I didn't dare to make a sound, afraid of waking Sukingru and having her give me remedial lessons. After picking up the clothes on the floor and putting them on, I quietly left the room. After I left, Sukingru, who was sound asleep on the bed, opened her eyes. When Wang Yu woke up, she was already awake. She just wanted to see how this guy would react. She couldn't help but let out a sigh. What a stiff man. Even if you had taken advantage of me while I was sleeping and done something secretly, I wouldn't have blamed you. With Wang Yu, her sleeping partner, gone, Sukingru was no longer in the mood to sleep. Getting out of bed, she walked barefoot towards the bathroom. After leaving Sukingru's villa, I quickly drove to the moonlight bathhouse. As soon as I entered, I heard a fierce argument coming from inside, along with the sound of things being smashed. At the entrance of the locker room, 3 men were causing a commotion. They all had various tattoos on their bodies, looking very intimidating. One look, and you could tell they were gangsters. Jiang Dazhuang had already gone to the hospital early in the morning for pre-surgery checkups, so he wasn't at the shop. Meanwhile, Zhang Xiaoyue and Han Kang were anxiously explaining, but they were completely outmatched in the argument. Why are you all gathered here instead of bathing? An uncle heard this and explained. 3 gangsters came out of nowhere, and after bathing, they came out saying they lost a gold necklace. They keep insisting that Xiaoyue and the people in the shop stole it. They're making them pay for it. That's right, they're even demanding 2 million. Being uncultured is truly terrifying. A 2 million gold necklace around his neck, isn't he afraid it's too heavy? It's very clear they're trying to extort money. Isn't there a camera in the men's locker room? Where is it? It seems to be broken. The leader with a green dragon tattoo on his shoulder snorted coldly. Little girl, if your bathhouse doesn't pay up today, then don't blame me for calling people to smash this place up. But we didn't steal your gold necklace. You're clearly trying to frame us. Zhang Xiaoyue had an unconvinced look on her face. Han Kang couldn't hold her back. It's not that he was scared, but that the other side had the advantage in numbers. Once a fight really broke out, he couldn't possibly hold them off alone. Seeing Zhang Xiaoyue being so stubborn, the leading man prepared to make a move. At this moment, I stepped out from the crowd with a smile to mediate. Hey, hold on. Big brothers, please don't be angry. The kid doesn't know any better, the person in charge here. If there's any problem, you can just talk to me. The leader glanced at me. You're the manager here? Just in time, my gold necklace went missing in your bathhouse. Pay up. Zhang Xiaoyue, as if finding her backer, complained resentfully. Brother Yu, they're lying. The camera in our locker room has always been working fine. It's checked every week. But it broke as soon as they arrived, and then they lost a gold necklace. How can there be such a coincidence in the world? The surrounding crowd nodded in agreement. For these 2 things to happen at the same time, it is indeed too much of a coincidence. Ha, you damn brat. I think you're asking for a beating. Hey, big brothers, whatever it is, let's talk it out calmly. I hurriedly smiled placatingly and blocked him. After signaling the fatty, I suddenly made a move, kicking with all my might at the leader's groin. The tattooed man's eyes went wide, his mouth formed an O shape, and he knelt on the ground in pain, losing his ability to resist. A blood-curdling scream immediately echoed throughout the bathhouse. Most of the surrounding crowd were men, and upon seeing that kick, they sympathetically sucked in a breath of cold air. After I made my move, Han Kang seized the opportunity while the other 2 were stunned, charging at one of them at full speed, unleashing his ultimate move. Behold, Mount Tai crushing the top, his fat body rushed towards the thinner man. The other guy was stunned for a moment and reflexively leaned over to dodge. It would have been better if he hadn't dodged, but with that dodge, Han Kang disastrously lost control of his direction. He crashed headfirst into the wall. Before fainting, he glared at the other man and said, "How could you dodge?" After saying that, he closed his eyes, having knocked himself out. The other guy looked innocent. You all saw it. He ran into it himself. It has nothing to do with me. Even I was speechless. This guy really knows how to mess things up at a critical moment. It was originally a 2-on-1 situation, but now it has become 1-on-2. The 2 thugs weren't stupid either. Seeing Wang Yu's decisive move, they immediately charged forward. Brother, be careful! Zhang Xiaoyue cried out in alarm beside me. Facing the 2 charging men, I didn't rush in head-on, but carefully took 2 steps back. I casually grabbed a broom and jabbed it at one man's groin. However, the thug was already prepared and deftly caught the broom with both hands, sneering, "Hey, hey, the same old trick. Don't think it can work twice." My flying kick was the answer to his words. This kick landed squarely on his face, sending him flying. His companion next to him took the opportunity to reach out, with both hands to grab my neck. Unexpectedly, I suddenly squatted down. Immediately after, the thug felt an intense pain, coming from his lower body. You shameless kid, every move is aimed at people's groins. Truly treacherous. After the successful sneak attack, I was about to smugly rub my nose, but remembered this hand had just stolen a peach, and I sheepishly lowered it. Just then, Jiang Xiaoyue's terrified scream came from the side. "Brother Yu, watch your back." I turned around in confusion, and a brick rapidly enlarged before my eyes. It gave me no chance to react at all. The leader who had fallen earlier sneered, "Kid, Die! The brick smashed directly into my head, breaking in two. I only felt the world spin. This time the surrounding crowd could no longer sit still. Although they didn't want to cause trouble, it was no longer a matter of whether they wanted to or not. The fight had reached this point. If it continued, someone could die. Quick, quick, call the police. If something happens to this kid, Wang Yu, where will this old man go to bathe in the future? In a lakeside villa in Zhongcheng's Old Town district, Su Qingru's mother, Qing Qiushuang, was up early cleaning. While mopping the floor, she didn't forget to instruct the maid. Auntie C, don't be so busy. Go and buy some delicious food. Today, I'll personally cook a few hometown dishes. Next, she turned her head to look at her husband, who was sitting on the sofa reading the newspaper, and scolded irritably, "All you do every day is read that tattered newspaper of yours. Hurry up and call our daughter to ask when she's coming, if she has left yet." Su Donglin didn't dare to provoke her and obediently took out his phone to send a message. Because he had sent their daughter abroad for her career, she hadn't returned home once in 3 years, always using the excuse of being busy with work. Just because of this, his wife had picked fights with him many times. But before he could send the message, the doorbell rang outside. The nearby maid hurried to open the door, and her surprised voice came through. "Miss Qingru, you're back." Then her doubtful voice was heard again. "Miss, why are you holding a cleaver? We have cleavers in the house." Hearing these words, Su Donglin, sitting on the sofa, immediately sensed something was wrong and hurriedly looked towards the door. Just as expected, after Su Qingru entered, she immediately walked towards him. Father and daughter hadn't seen each other in 3 years. The atmosphere was a bit warm at this moment, if not for the cleaver that Su Qingru was holding in her hand. You unfilial daughter, what are you trying to do?" Su Donglin was so scared he quickly threw the newspaper away and hid behind the sofa, his face filled with terror. Su Qingru walked over and said with a cold smile, "The good deed you did back then, you know it well in your heart. You tell me, what do I want to do now?" Hearing this, Su Donglin became angry. "Insolent! For a man, you dare to wield a knife at your own father?" "You're the insolent one," Su Qingru retorted, not backing down. "Who gave you the right to meddle in my affairs? Do you know what kind of life I've lived for the past 3 years? Wasn't I doing it for your own good? That kid isn't worthy of you. I'm choosing a husband, not you. What does his worthiness have to do with you? Old Su, you come here. Anyway, a fool like you will surely have a hard time dying peacefully later on. How about I help you find release right now?" Seeing this chaotic scene, the maid trembled and went to the side, saying worriedly, "Mom, shouldn't you do something about this?" Qing Qiushuang, however, calmly took a sip of tea. "What is there to manage? He brought this karma upon himself. He didn't even bother to discuss it with me in the first place. He deserves to be chopped." Su Donglin, who was being chased, heard these words and was furious inside. Su Qingru, holding the cleaver, no longer had her previous noble and elegant demeanor. She looked like a madwoman, only knowing how to chop, chop, chop. Fortunately, Su Donglin usually insisted on exercising, so his speed. Father and daughter were thus locked in a stalemate in the living room. Seeing that half an hour had passed, Mother Qin finished a cup of tea and slowly said, "All right, that's about enough from you two. Qingru, stop scaring your father. He's timid. He can't handle you scaring him like that. If his soul gets scared out of him later, he'll have to be a widow." Su Qingru, slightly out of breath, finally stopped and said indignantly, I wasn't scaring him. Who told him to make decisions on his own? And even used a fake photo to trick me." Father Su didn't dare to argue back. Qing Qiushuang clapped her hands to mediate. "All right, Qingru came today to solve the problem. Stop causing a scene here. Let's all sit down and discuss it slowly." After 3 years, the whole family once again gathered around a table. As soon as she sat down, Su Qingru crossed her arms, snorted coldly, and said, "Just one request. I want to marry Wang Yu. If you two don't agree, at worst, he and I will elope." No, Su Donglin became firm again. Clang. The cleaver was placed on the table by Su Qingru. Father Su's momentum immediately diminished greatly. He softened his tone and persuaded, "Actually, it's not that I won't let you two be together. It's mainly that this kid Wang Yu needs more tempering. At least for now, you two can't be together. The class difference between you two is too great. The gap isn't just about money, but also the vision, worldview, and character cultivated since childhood. What more tempering does he need? The tempering of the past 3 years is more than enough." Seeing this, Su Donglin smiled. "Then do you dare to make a bet with me? Let's do this. If you win, I will agree to let you two be together and won't stand in your way anymore. But if you lose, I'm sure your impression of Wang Yu will have changed by then." "A bet is a bet," Su Qingru readily agreed. "Clap, clap!" Mother Qin smiled and clapped. "All right, the matter is settled then. What happened before ends here. Qingru hasn't been home for so long. What do you want to eat for lunch today? I'll personally cook for you." Unexpectedly, after settling the matter, Su Qingru stood up to leave, with no intention of staying for the meal. "Mom, your cooking isn't good. I won't be eating lunch. Wang Yu will prepare lunch for me." The scene immediately fell silent. Su Donglin helplessly held his forehead. "This is a disaster." Qing Qiushuang reacted and slammed her hand on the table, her anger soaring. "Who did this damn brat just say can't cook well? Who the hell is that Wang Yu? A snot-nosed kid? Can he cook better than me? Hey wife, calm down. How could your cooking not be delicious? The maid couldn't help but sigh. You mother and daughter are exactly the same. After leaving home, Su Kingru didn't hesitate for a second and instructed the driver to drive to Wang Yu's workplace. Because she had to go home today, she had postponed her company work yesterday. As soon as Su Kingru got out of the car, she saw 2 police cars from the opposite direction approaching with their sirens on. Just as she was wondering, 3 very disheveled, shirtless figures ran out of the bathhouse's main entrance, scrambling to run towards the police car, as if a demon was chasing them. When the 3 thugs saw the police car, their expressions clearly became agitated. They even cried while waving their hands. "Officer, we're here. Come and save us, Sob. That guy is a complete lunatic. If I had known, I wouldn't have taken this job. The money earned this time probably won't even cover the medical bills." At this moment, another figure chased after them, looking even more terrifying than the other 3. There were bloodstains on his face, his forehead was still bleeding non-stop, and his eyes were bloodshot. I chased while swinging the iron rod in my hand. "If you have any guts, stand still for me. If I don't take you down today, you'll no longer be surnamed Wang." After being hit on the head with a brick by the leader, I didn't faint, but instead my adrenaline skyrocketed and I fought more ferociously. After getting up from the ground, I alone chased and beat the 3 of them, my attacks becoming more ruthless, aiming specifically for their heads and bodies. Jiang Xiaoyue and the others tried to stop me, but couldn't and were extremely worried. Standing beside the car, Su Kingru watched in astonishment as the people quickly ran past. She turned her head to look at the 2 bodyguards behind her. "Is that Wang Yu? I must be seeing things, right?" Dahe replied in a deep voice. "Miss, you are not mistaken. The person just now was indeed Master Yu." Hearing this, Su Kingru reacted, her eyes widening in anger. "Then what are you still standing there for? Hurry up and chase him down and bring him back to me with the speed of Dahe and Erhei." They caught up with Wang Yu almost in an instant, using a familiar technique to firmly restrain me, and brought me before Su Kingru. I kept struggling, but that little bit of strength in front of the 2 professional bodyguards was clearly nothing. "Let me go." While struggling, a cold voice came from beside my ear. "Wang Yuzi." This form of address seemed to make me recall some unpleasant memory. My body reflexively shivered, and only then did I calm down. What met my eyes was Su Kingru's gloomy face. "Why are you here?" But before I could give Su Kingru a chance to answer, my eyes rolled back and I fainted. Erhai explained attentively. "It's probably because he used too much force. Plus, he has a head injury. His body was exhausted, so he fainted. Then hurry up and find a doctor." By the time I opened my eyes again, I was already in Su Enhu's bedroom. Looking at the familiar ceiling, I was about to sit up when a sharp pain shot through my head. The pain made him gasp. "Humph, if you don't want to die from the pain, you better lie still and not move." It was only then that I realized I was lying on Su Enhu's lap. The wound on my forehead had also been carefully bandaged. My body had recovered some strength. I didn't quite dare to look directly into Su Enhu's resentful eyes, but she quickly noticed something was wrong, because a teardrop had fallen onto my face. A wet sensation spread across my face. Seeing Su Enhu with her red, swollen eyes, I immediately panicked. "I'm the one who's hurt? What are you crying for?" "Don't cry. Isn't it because of you?" Su Enhu punched me in the chest. With red eyes, she said in a choked voice, "Do you know you nearly scared me to death just now? Who told you to do something so dangerous? If anything happened to you, what would I do?" Facing a cold and domineering Su Enhu, I could still be tough. But in front of a crying Su King like this, I was at a complete loss. I hurriedly admitted I was wrong in a low voice. "I was wrong, okay? Don't cry anymore. What happened today was just an accident. If I ever get involved in something this dangerous again, be a puppy. You're already a dog of a man." Su Enhu wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes, correcting me as she cried. "Then if I do something dangerous again, it'll be a pig. Is that better? You're already as stupid as a pig." For a moment, I didn't know whether to be angry or to be angry. Helpless, I remembered something, and fighting through the pain, I sat up, pressing my lips against her soft, red ones. Su Enhu's eyes widened, not expecting this guy to dare take advantage of the situation. Before, she was always the one to initiate, but this time it was Wang Yu who took the lead. This kiss had a different flavor. I was just using an old trick. Back in college, whenever Su Enhu was even a little upset, I would kiss her. After the kiss, she would naturally stop being upset. It was very effective back then. Of course, it's still very effective now. Just a moment later, Su Enhu was no longer crying. Until I could no longer hold that position and lay back down, she contentedly licked the corner of her lips. Even so, she still warned me, "You stinky fish. If you let yourself get into this state again next time, don't even think about leaving my sight ever again." Okay, I replied weakly. I had only intended for a simple kiss just now. Who knew this young lady would take the opportunity to stick her tongue out, and in such a difficult position? I was nearly exhausted to death. Having a girlfriend who's both cold and knows how to be clingy like this, his days ahead will probably be tough. He hadn't rested for long when he knocked and came in to report on the matter. He had learned from the police department that those 3 thugs were criminals with prior records. They often extorted money from others. He was just about to use some harsh methods to interrogate them, but they ended up confessing everything. It was clear that Wang Yu had beaten them into a state of psychological trauma. The final result was, it was Xu-jun who paid them to cause trouble at the Moonlight Bathhouse and said it would be best to take the opportunity to give Wang Yu a beating. After that, they'd be locked up for a few days at most. Unfortunately, this time they ran into Su King-hu, who is an extreme husband-protector fanatic. Malicious extortion, intentional injury. If they don't stay in there for at least 5 years, don't even think about getting out. After sending a message to Jiang Xiaoyue to let her know I was safe, I lay back down on the bed to continue resting. With an injury like this, I could definitely only stay here tonight. As for that guy surnamed Shu, he dared to pay someone to beat me. Once my wound heals, it'll definitely teach that kid a lesson he won't forget and let him know who's boss. Cruel, with few words. After dinner, I lay on the large Simmons bed looking at the ceiling, only to feel a pair of legs wrap around my waist. Su Jingyan lay beside me, propping her chin with her hand and looking at me. She said with a smile, "If I remember correctly, it seems you didn't give me a good morning kiss this morning. Didn't we kiss when I woke up just now? That one doesn't count." I looked miserable. "Can't you just let me rest for a bit?" A pair of hands immediately grabbed my neck. Su Qingnahu's expression turned cold. Her voice was devoid of any emotion. "Wang Yu, I see you're being disobedient again. I'll give you 2 choices. Either you make up for the good morning kiss, or I'll take care of you right now. You choose." In the end, I closed my eyes in misery. "Excuse me, what do you do when your girlfriend is overly possessive?" After this incident, my reputation became famous throughout all the surrounding streets. The more it was rumored, the more bizarre it became. "What did you say?" Those 3 troublemaking thugs were defeated single-handedly by that Wang Yu. He even intentionally took 2 bricks to the head, but it was as if nothing happened, and he chased after those 3 thugs. There were all sorts of versions. On the contrary, it became a hot topic in the bathhouse. Not only was business unaffected, but there were many more customers than usual. I guess you could say I've become famous. 9 a.m. Moonlight Bathhouse. A black BMW stopped. I, fully resurrected, got out of the car, took a breath of fresh air, and just felt refreshed all over. This is freedom. As I spoke, I casually wiped a hickey from my neck. I walked into the bathhouse feeling relaxed. At this hour, Han Kang was organizing the account books. I walked up to him and called out, "Fatty, stop what you're doing. Grab your tools and come out with me for a bit." "Brother Wang Yu, you're alive again?" Han Kang was a little surprised. After all, Wang Yu looked seriously injured that day. It's only been 2 days and he's already up and about. "Cut the crap and hurry up and pack your things." Han Kang took out a long sealed bag from under the counter, the gunny sack shaking like a rattle drum. He handed it over while saying he wasn't going anywhere. "I'm always the one who gets beaten up. If you want to go, go by yourself. I'm a wounded soldier now. The doctor told me not to do any strenuous exercise." If he remembered correctly, the last time they used this gunny sack was a year ago. A drunkard was causing trouble in the bathhouse and slapped Xiao Yue. That night, Wang Yu dragged him to the man's doorstep for revenge. In the end, that drunkard was hospitalized for half a month. Once the story got out, no one dared to cause trouble at the bathhouse anymore. Even thieves didn't dare to come. Hey, I glanced at him. What if I told you it was the mastermind behind those 3 thugs? Then, Han Kang, as if stimulated by something, slammed his hand on the table. It was as if 2 flames were burning fiercely in his eyes. He squatted down again, as if looking for something. When he stood up again, in his hand was a plastic bucket. "Brother Yu, don't rush. Let me go to the public restroom to borrow something." 10 minutes later, the 2 of them walked out with their arms around each other's shoulders, talking. Just then, Jiang Xiaoyue returned from the market. Seeing the 2 of them about to go out, she asked suspiciously, "Brother Yu, you damn fatty, where are you 2 going?" "Xiaoyue, you can call me fatty, but can you not add damn in front of it? I'm your senior after all." "Got it, little fatty." I waved my hand. "Xiaoyue, Fatty and I are going out for a bit. Please look after the shop. Call us if anything happens." The 2 of them carried their tools onto an electric scooter. Afternoon, at a club in Jiangcheng. Sujun was singing with his old bad friends, with girls in his arms, sitting on the sofa, venting his frustrations. As for Xia Sifei, she had gone to work. After all, she was in charge of a company branch. She couldn't be with him every day, otherwise he wouldn't dare to be so brazen. Someone laughed and asked, "Brother Jun, you don't seem to be in a good mood today. I'm pissed. Get lost." Shujun cursed. He had originally paid those 3 thugs to teach Wang Yu a lesson, but in the end, not only did he not teach him a lesson, but those 3 thugs were also thrown in jail. He had to spend a lot of money to make them not rat him out. The other person said cheerfully, "Not in a good mood, then call sister-in-law to come be with you. If you hadn't mentioned it, it would be fine." But mentioning this made Shujun even more frustrated. Now, that old woman from the Xia family sees him as a thorn in her side. Yesterday, he originally wanted to sleep with Xia Sifei to make things official so her family couldn't object. But in the end, Xia Sifei rejected him. Now, she won't even let him hug her. Thinking of this, he lost his mood to party. He stood up in frustration and went outside. I'm leaving first, you guys carry on. Just as he walked out the main door of the bar, he felt the need to pee, so he went into the small alley next to it. Just as he unbuckled his belt to relieve himself, a black shadow enveloped him. He only felt his vision go dark. The strong smell of a gunny sack hit his nose. Who is it? Just as he opened his mouth, he suddenly felt someone kick his little June. The pain made his body go limp. He couldn't even let out a scream. In the alley, Wang Yu and Han Kong, having succeeded, were beating him mercilessly. Help! Unfortunately, it was fated that no one would hear his cries for help. 10 minutes passed quickly. Seeing that they had beaten him enough, I stopped Han Kong, who still hadn't had enough. All right, fatty, any more and we'll kill him. Bring your secret weapon over here. Let's finish up and get out. Oh, okay, I'll spare this kid. Han Kang put away his whip, turned and walked out of the alley, confirmed no one was around, then ran off. When he came back, he was holding a heavy little plastic bucket. An indescribable stench was emanating from inside. Luckily, I had prepared in advance and took out a mask to put on. Han Kang slowly poured the contents of the bucket onto him while saying with a laugh, Hey, this kid has really had it this time. After finishing all this, the two of them quietly left. And this was just a little bit of interest that Wang Yu collected. The main show was still to come. That afternoon, after receiving a phone call, Xia Sifei, who was originally working at the company, hurriedly left and drove to the hospital at top speed. When she arrived, all of Shu Jun's bad friends were standing in the hallway. Their expressions were odd. Xia Sifei hurriedly asked loudly, What on earth happened? Why was Ah Jun suddenly beaten up and hospitalized? One of them said awkwardly. Sister-in-law, we don't know what happened either. As soon as he left the bar, Brother Jun ended up like this. Why don't you go in and ask him yourself? Xia Sifei angrily went forward and pushed open the hospital room door. Before she could even step inside, a stench so foul it made one want to vomit wafted out. She unconsciously wanted to close the door, but in the end, she gritted her teeth and went in. Shu Jun, lying on the hospital bed, saw Xia Sifei walk in and immediately became agitated, his eyes welling up with tears. Sifei, you have to stand up for me. He ignored the pain all over his body and said with red eyes, It was Wang Yu, that bastard. He must be jealous of us being together. So while you weren't here, he secretly called people to put a bag over my head and beat me into this state. These past few days, Xia Sifei was already angry because her family wouldn't let her be with Shu Jun. She didn't understand what she had done wrong. Comparing Shu Jun to Wang Yu, the former was clearly more outstanding. Why was everyone so against it? Now, hearing her beloved cry, the anger in her heart finally exploded. It's Wang Yu again? Her eyes widened as she glared fiercely at the people in the hallway. You guys, come over here and help me. Come with me to demand an explanation. The men looked at each other but still obediently came over, unlocked the wheels of the hospital bed, and pushed the bed out together. 4 p.m. Moonlight bathhouse. This was the quietest time at the bathhouse. Customers usually left right after bathing. You'd have to wait until at least 7 p.m. for more customers to come. With nothing to do, me, Fatty, and Xiao Yue gathered behind the counter to play games. Suddenly, the sound of screeching brakes came from outside. As I turned my head in confusion, a familiar yet furious voice came from the door. Wang Yu, Xia Sifei stormed in angrily. Her red eyes glanced past Han Kong and Zhang Xiaoyue, finally landing on me. She didn't waste any words, quickly stepping forward and raised her hand at the same time. A powerful slap, accompanied by a whoosh of air, was about to hit my face but was caught by a hand gripping her wrist. I easily grabbed her hand, scratched my ear, and then, without hesitation, slapped her back. Although I didn't use my full strength, I still used half of it. Smack! The crisp sound of the slap echoed through the large hall. Zhang Xiaoyue's mouth fell open in shock. And on Xia Sifei's right cheek you could see a bright red 5-finger mark. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. From childhood until now, no one had ever dared to hit her. And yet, Wang Yu dared to strike her. Noticing her demonic glare fixed on me, I pouted. What are you looking at? You struck first. This is what you call self-defense. Han Kong, who was nearby, heard this and leaned over to whisper a reminder. Brother Yu, self-defense is only when you're being illegally assaulted and you act to stop it. That's called self-defense. She hasn't even touched you yet. Strictly speaking, what you did isn't called self-defense. Hearing this, I scratched my head in embarrassment. Is that so? Well, what can you do? I can't just stand by and watch a slap land on my face. At this moment, Xia Sifei still hadn't recovered from that slap, and a group of people also followed her in, pushing Shu Jun, who was lying on the hospital bed. When the latter saw Wang Yu, his face revealed a fierce expression. The lying Shu Jun said angrily, Wang Yu, I know you hate me. Sifei is so beautiful, it's understandable that you like her. I also know that you know she likes me, and you feel very unwilling to accept it. But as a man, I despise you. If you have the guts, fight me head on. What's so great about sneak attacks from behind? I never thought you'd be such a shameless villain. At this, Xia Sifei seemed to be jolted to her senses by these words. She looked up again with a pained expression, tears glistening in her eyes. Wang Yu, you've disappointed me too much. I know you like me a lot, but you could have competed in a fair and square manner. But Ah Jun is innocent. Why did you have to go and make things difficult for him? I admit that for a moment I was moved by you. But the you of today has disappointed me too much. Han Kang seemed to be moved by these words, wildly imagining countless scenarios. He pulled Wang Yu's hand and whispered, Brother, I never knew you were such a faithful man. Before I misunderstood you. If you really like this woman, you could have told me, although I don't have a girlfriend. My face darkened. I took a deep breath and said through gritted teeth, Fatty, turn around. What for? Han Kang didn't understand but still obediently turned around. Hey, with our relationship, what is there that I can't see, right? If you want to beg for forgiveness, hurry up and do it, brother. I won't laugh at you. As soon as he finished speaking, a powerful kick landed on his butt. Along with a cry of "Ayah," Han Kang fell hard to the ground, clutching his butt and rolling on the floor. My face darkened as I said, damn it, today I was so focused on beating that guy that I forgot to beat you. Xiao Yue, drag this damn fatty away. I'll handle things here. If I let this damn fatty stay, my lifelong reputation will be ruined in an instant. Very quickly, Zhang Xiaoyue pinched Han Kang's ear and dragged him upstairs. Just as they went upstairs, another sound of screeching brakes came from outside the bathhouse. Then, Zhang Shuqin, who I hadn't seen in a long time, walked in. Xia Xifei, with one side of her face red and swollen, was a bit surprised. Mom, why are you here? Unexpectedly, Zhang Shuqin didn't say a word, raised her hand, and slapped her left cheek. Xia Xifei clutched her face and stumbled back 2 steps, nearly falling to the ground. With disheveled hair, she looked up and opened her mouth in disbelief. Mom, you hit me again? After confirming that Wang Yu was okay, Zhang Shuqin looked at her daughter with a cold face and said through gritted teeth with a cold snort, I am hitting you because you did something foolish. Your father and I have spoiled you too much since you were a child, which is why your personality has become so twisted. If I don't teach you a lesson, you'll definitely cause a huge scene. Although I didn't know why, Zhang Shuqin appeared so timely, still called out respectfully, Auntie Zhang, long time no see. Now that I'm divorced from Xia Xifei, I naturally can't call her mom anymore. During my 3 years in the Xia family, although Xia Xifei was always thinking about her white moonlight, her parents always treated me like their own son from beginning to end. They didn't treat me badly, so I still had to call her Auntie Zhang. Zhang Shuqin nodded stiffly. The anger in her heart burned even hotter. The perfect son-in-law chosen from thousands was ruined by her own daughter. Luckily, she usually focused on self-cultivation, otherwise she would have died of anger. Seeing her mother treat an outsider with a better attitude than she treated her, Xia Xifei felt another wave of discomfort. She felt both wronged and angry. As for Shu Jun, who was beside her, he was secretly pleased. Go ahead and make a scene. The bigger the scene, the better. That's the only way to maximize his benefits. Xia Xifei suppressed her sobs, pointed at Wang Yu, and looked at her mother angrily, saying, Mom, can't you see even now that this guy is a villain? Even at a time like this, you're still defending him. Zhang Shuqin was seething with anger. She only heard Xia Xifei continue. Wang Yu is not as outstanding as you think. He's jealous that I like Ah Jun and dared to have him beaten into this state. This is the good son-in-law you approve of. Hearing this, I knew it was my time to step up. Since I dared to lay a hand on Shu Jun, I had naturally already thought of a way to deal with Xia Xifei. I was about to reach into my pocket to take out a stack of photos when I saw Zhang Shuqin take out a stack of photos from the handbag she was carrying, about 20 of them. She threw them at her daughter and said angrily, Take a good look for yourself. This is the man you've liked for the past 3 years. For 3 years you've been yearning for him, but what has he been doing behind your back? Each photo hit Xia Xifei's face. The photos were all similar. They were all pictures of Shu Jun entering and exiting hotels with other women, hand in hand, acting intimately. The only difference was the female lead in each photo was different. Either it was a sexy dancer from some nightclub or some third-rate starlet. Or mature middle-aged aunts. These photos made Xia Xifei freeze on the spot. Her eyes stared intently at the photos on the ground. With Shu Jun's financial ability, of course, he couldn't afford to go in and out of hotels every day. But coincidentally, 2 days ago, she had just given him a sum of money. It was the 2 million divorce settlement fee originally meant for Wang Yu. Looking at the dates on the photos, the first one was on the exact day she gave money to Shu Jun. She had just given him the money in the morning, and that afternoon, he was already out having fun. And Shu Jun, lying on the hospital bed seeing these photos, his face immediately turned pale. He thought to himself, impossible. How could this woman know about these things? When he did these things, he was always very discreet other than these friends. Thinking of this, he glared behind him, at his good brothers who were pushing the hospital bed. His good brothers averted their eyes. The truth of the matter was as clear as day. It's no wonder Zhang Shuqin could arrive so promptly. Mother Zhang happened to look over. Seeing his state, she sneered and said, Do you really think our Jia family is full of brainless idiots? To be toyed with in the palm of your hand, by a fallen rich second generation like you? The actual person in charge of $100 million enterprise being easily tricked and played by a fallen rich second generation, something like that can only happen in novels or in brainless TV dramas. With his meager skills and tricks, in Zhang Shuqin's eyes, it was nothing more than child's play. Only her daughter, blinded by love, could be deceived by it. I stood behind Mother Zhang with wide eyes, quietly taking my hands out of my pockets, cursing inwardly, Damn it, this isn't going the way I imagined. But luckily, I carefully prepared 2 plans. Otherwise, I would have really been the scoundrel today. The betrayal of her ideal man made Xia Xifei feel immense torment. Could her judgment of people really be that bad? At this moment, she thought of something and looked up again. Then what about you secretly hiding a photo of me? Wang Yu, how do you explain that? She smirked inwardly, feeling like she had finally scored a point. Those eyes were exactly like hers. Surely Wang Yu was afraid she'd discover the secretly photoshopped picture. Jiangcheng City is vast, with a population of nearly 5 million people. Among them, there are certainly many beautiful people, but as for natural beauties without makeup, I'm afraid they only make up 1% of that number, perhaps even less. And among that small number, to have eyes just like hers and be even more beautiful than her, how could such a coincidence exist in this world? If such a person really existed, I'm afraid she would have been famous long ago, not some unknown nobody. I was just about to open my mouth to explain, when at that very moment, the familiar sound of a screeching car was heard again and again from outside, and a familiar call echoed in, again, and again. "Wang Yu, are you done with work?" Along with a lazy, charming voice, a tall figure walked in from the door. It was Su Qingru, who came after hearing the news. Ever since Wang Yu was injured at the bathhouse last time, she had people keeping an eye on this place, reporting to her immediately if anything happened. Xia Sifei stopped mid-sentence, because the face in the photo was nearly a 90% match with Su Qingru. The truth was now clear. The woman in the photo wasn't her, but Su Qingru herself, not photoshopped at all. Wang Yu had never liked her in the first place. From beginning to end, it was all her own unrequited feelings. Remembering the things she had said to Wang Yu before, Xia Sifei was now so ashamed that she wanted to find a hole to crawl into. Seeing Su Qingru walk in, I was surprised. "Why are you here?" I don't know if it was intentional or... Intentional. Su Qingru gave me a flirtatious glance and smiled charmingly. "What other reason could there be?" "Of course, I missed you." "What? Don't you miss me?" Before I could say anything, Su Qingru came closer and wrapped her arms around my neck, actively giving me a sweet kiss, leaving a lipstick mark on my lips. In the eyes of Zhang Shuqin standing nearby, a look of surprise appeared. She was often active in Jiangcheng's business circles. Almost as soon as Su Qingru appeared, she recognized her identity. After all, this person was very famous recently. She just didn't expect that she would also have such a relationship with Wang Yu. It seems her hopes for this son-in-law were gone. After declaring her sovereignty, Su Qingru and Zhang Shuqin from a moment ago made the exact same gesture, taking a stack of photos from her bag and throwing them at Su Jun lying on the hospital bed. "Since everyone is here, I picked these up on my way here. Please, have a look for free." This familiar scene couldn't help but make Su Jun have a bad premonition in his heart. As expected, the male lead in the photos was still him, and the female lead was different in every picture. Moreover, these photos were even more scandalous. Most showed Su Jun wearing strange clothes, being stepped on by a foreign woman. Su Qingru gently linked her arm with Wang Yu's. Her gaze shifted to Xia Sifei. She covered her mouth and chuckled softly. "I heard this was your boyfriend back when you were in school. Someone took these pictures. You are so generous to share your man so freely without being stingy. Unlike this one, he can only be mine." Looking at the photos on the ground, Zhang Shuqin's face turned pale with anger. If before it was just her daughter being blind, then now it's like smearing dirt on the face of the entire Xia family. How could she dare to face anyone outside? Would she say that the daughter she painstakingly raised didn't want a husband who cared for his family and ended up liking such a scumbag? This is truly a disgrace that has spread abroad. Mother Zhang didn't want to stay another second. She glared at her unambitious daughter and went forward to pull her hand, heading out. "Come home with me. I can't control you anymore. Wait until your father gets back from his business trip and see how he deals with you." Xia Sifei was like a soulless person, only a shell left for her mother to drag away. It turns out from start to finish, she was just a joke. Seeing that their boss had left, these thugs didn't stay long either. They hurried away one after another. Only Su Jun was left, lying there pitifully. He was just about to open his mouth to say something when a bone-chilling gaze fell upon him, scaring him into speechlessness. Hai, two burly figures waiting at the door, walked in expressionlessly, with Su Qingru's vengeful personality. How could she tolerate someone who harmed her Wang Yu to roam free? Now that everything was over, this bastard could finally be dealt with. She gave a cold command. "Take him out and entertain him well. I don't want to see him in this country for the rest of my life. After you're done entertaining him, send him where he belongs." Su Jun struggled, wanting to beg for mercy. Making him go back to that place was worse than death. After dealing with the troublemaker, Su Qingru's mood immediately lightened up a lot. She turned her head and noticed Wang Yu's expression was a bit strange. "What's wrong with you? Are you not feeling well?" "No, it's nothing. It's just that from today on, they'll become a scoundrel. It's a little heartbreaking." I chuckled wryly as I took my hands out of my pockets. If someone had X-ray vision, they would discover that in both of my pockets was a stack of photos, just like the ones scattered on the ground. I don't get it. Why do both of them like to steal the show? According to the usual script and tropes, shouldn't I be the one who, after being repeatedly questioned and wronged, takes out the prepared photos and successfully turns the tables at the end? I, Wang Yu, am very capable, okay? Unfortunately, everyone is as cunning as a fox, giving me no chance to show off at all. Letting out a sigh, "What did you come looking for me for? You couldn't have come here just to scatter photos, right?" Su Qingru pointed to the clock on the nearby wall with a serious expression. "It's time for dinner now. After eating, you might as well sleep at my place. My bed is very big. It's very comfortable to sleep in. I couldn't refuse. Even if I did refuse, I would surely be tied up by the two big guys in black, and this girl's increasingly outrageous clinginess." The two of us leisurely walked over the threshold and out of the bathhouse. "By the way, where did you get your photos?" From an investigation, of course. I had someone investigate that guy's background. When they were investigating his school, they found these photos in the forums. They're all over the private student forums. My face darkened. Damn it. It turns out you could find them just by looking randomly. That damned fatty said he had to painstakingly hack into someone's account to find them, and for that, I had to pay the price of helping him wash his socks for a month. It seems I'll have to find a time to give this guy a taste of a urea sack. Since that day, a week has passed. This week, Sukingru seemed very busy. She no longer clung to me during the day, but focused on her work. I was, of course, very pleased with this. It's true that I like this woman, but I'm an adult now. Being in sync is just the beginning of a relationship. The bigger difficulties lie ahead, because Uncle Jung's health was getting weaker by the day. To avoid letting Xiaoyue find any clues, I now go to the bathhouse very early almost every day to proactively take on some of the work. Brother Yu, there's someone outside looking for you. He said he was recommended by someone and came specifically to find you. He's waiting in the break room now. I wipe my sweat, full of doubt. Who would be so bored as to recommend me? After I finished cleaning up and went to the break room, I found out it clearly wasn't like that. A middle-aged man in a suit with a square face sat opposite the table. Behind him was a girl about 23 years old, wearing a white shirt with jeans below that highlighted her excellent figure. I just glanced curiously before looking away. After all, there's a vixen at home, which makes me not very interested in beautiful women anymore. The middle-aged man stood up, extended his hand towards Wang Yu, and said with a smile, "You must be Wang Yu. It's been many years. I didn't expect you to have grown so big. This handsomeness is comparable to your father in his youth. Truly dashing and elegant you are." I was a little suspicious, shaking his hand. I had no impression of the person in front of me, but the latter clearly had some understanding of him and his family. Li Hengyuan laughed heartily and said, "It's normal that you don't remember me. The last time I saw you, you were still in a child's seat. Your parents and I are acquaintances. You can call me Uncle Li. This is my daughter, Li Yue. She's 2 years younger than you." Li Yue, standing behind her father, bowed slightly. "Hello, brother Wang Yu." Hello." After the greeting, both sides sat down. Only then did I ask in confusion, Uncle Li? You said you were recommended by someone, came specifically to find me." Hearing this, Li Hengyuan nodded. His expression became a little more serious. "It's like this." Li Hengyuan recounted the whole story. Only then did I understand. It turns out the Li family suffers from a very severe dampness illness. This illness is hereditary. When they are young, there might be no signs, but once they enter middle age, the symptoms of the illness will become more obvious. This dampness illness will cause many hidden dangers to the body. Moreover, dampness is very difficult to eliminate. With the current level of medical science, it still can't be completely cured. One can only use various methods to alleviate it. This also led to the fact that in the current Lai family, no one has lived past the age of 60. Until several decades ago, Lai Hengyuan sought out Wang Yu's parents for treatment. Although it still couldn't be completely cured, they could use acupuncture to greatly reduce the dampness, and it required an acupuncture session every 2 years, lasting for 30 years before one could rest assured, and this dampness-removing acupuncture method is the Wang family's exclusive secret technique. Therefore, every 2 years, Wang Yu's parents would come to their home to help. Li Hengyuan and Li Yue removed the dampness, and Li Yue is now over 20 years old. Not only has her body not weakened, it's even much healthier than her peers, which shows that the dampness-removing acupuncture is very effective. After hearing all this, I rubbed my chin and muttered, I never thought my parents had such skills. I thought they only knew the Hidong Lion's Roar technique about family matters. Wang Yu didn't know much. He only knew his parents used to be doctors at a very famous hospital. Later, for some unknown reason, they quit their jobs. Li Hengyuan didn't interrupt my thoughts, but waited quietly. As for Li Yue, she was simply curious. This guy looks a bit foolish. Is he really as amazing as Uncle Wang and Aunt Li said? After a while, I looked up and asked, "That's not right. Then you should be looking for my parents for treatment. Why look for me? My medical skills aren't that good. I can only make medicinal baths for body maintenance. I've never learned this dampness. Removing acupuncture." Hearing this, Li Hengyuan was clearly taken aback for a moment. He clearly didn't expect Wang Yu to say that, and looking at me, I didn't seem to be lying. Could he have been tricked? "How about you call your parents and ask?" I took out my phone and quickly called my mom. On the other end, Mother Li, who was drying herbs, learned the whole story and answered impatiently, "If I say you can do it, you can do it. Your father's skills and mine, you've already learned 70 to 80% of them. What's so hard about removing some dampness? Do you remember your second-year middle school winter break? The time you stole the private savings your father had saved for 10 years? I answered without thinking. Of course, I almost froze to death back then, although that memory was very painful. The private money was really sweet. I used that money to directly upgrade my King of Glory account to VIP 8, and the remaining money kept me happy for over half a year. As for old comrade Wang, he had to sleep on the floor for 2 months and could only eat at the same table as Wang Kai the dog. On the other end, Mother Li continued, "How I gave you acupuncture back then, you just do the same for Uncle Li and your little sister. After the acupuncture, just soak for a while in that vitality-boosting bath you researched, and you'll be successful." Before I could ask any more questions, the other end had already hung up hastily. Looking at the disconnected phone, I sighed and said, "I can only give it a try." I don't know if it will specifically work or not, although I've been exposed since childhood to a lot of knowledge related to traditional Chinese medicine and was even forced by my parents to read medical books in college. I have very rarely applied it in practice. Simply put, even I myself don't know what level I'm at now. Li Hongyuan, sitting opposite, finally smiled. Then I'll have to trouble you. I took out the silver needles I usually use for practice, focused my mind, and inserted one silver needle into Li Hongyuan's back. After inserting all the silver needles, you can't pull them out right away. You have to leave them in for half an hour. I was trembling with fear throughout the whole process, just afraid of making some mistake. I had used wooden stakes many times before, and so's in the village to practice, but those weren't people. After all, luckily, after the initial nervousness, my mood quickly stabilized, and my needle insertion became steadier. An hour later, Li Hongyuan finished soaking in the vitality-boosting bath and was the first to step out of the private bathroom, using a towel to wipe the water droplets from his hair. He let out a long breath and said with a rosy complexion, "It's been a long time since I've had such a comfortable soak, Uncle Li. How are you feeling?" Very good, even more comfortable than the previous acupuncture sessions. Yu Wei, having gotten dressed, emerged from the opposite bathroom right after. Her cheeks were slightly flushed, but the corners of her mouth were turned up in a smile. Clearly, the effect was not bad. Only then did I breathe a sigh of relief. It seems to be a success. After resting for a while, the father and daughter, Li Hongyuan, didn't plan to stay long. After all, Wang Yu still had work to do, and it wasn't convenient for them to bother him too much before leaving. Li Hongyuan took out a pre-prepared bank card and a business card. Wang Yu, this is the treatment fee. It's still the price your parents set back then. As for this business card, I have some connections in Jiangcheng. If you run into any trouble, you can call me. There's a treatment fee. I was surprised as I took the card and business card and casually asked, "How much money is in here?" "Not much, just 200,000. My eyes widened, showing a look of disbelief. My voice was several decibels louder. "How much did you say?" 200,000. What's wrong?" Li Hongyuan was puzzled by Wang Yu's reaction. To him, this 200,000 was truly nothing. At most, it's just the cost of a few meals. But for me, it was completely different. Acupuncture once every 2 years. Each time the treatment fee is 200,000. A rough estimate puts it at nearly 30 years. Doesn't that mean just from Uncle Lai alone, my family has earned nearly 3 million? And that's not even counting inflation. 200,000 from 20 years ago and 200,000 now are not the same level of spending power. I remember being taught since childhood that my family was poor. When hungry, I could only go to other people's fields to dig up sweet potatoes to roast and eat. When thirsty, I could only go steal pears and watermelons from the neighbor auntie's house. Those days only ended after I finished college. And the result is that now you're telling me my family is actually filthy rich. Those two old folks sure kept it well hidden. I can imagine it. After I finished my dinner, my parents carrying out from the kitchen roasted chicken, abalone, and seafood. In the car, Li Hongyuan glanced at the sign of the Moonlight Bathhouse and said with a faint smile, "Yu Wei, in the future, if you have nothing to do, you can interact more with this kid, Wang Yu. As for being boyfriend and girlfriend, you don't stand a chance. You can't win him over, but being friends isn't bad. Li Yu, we knew her father's personality very well. He never woke up early if there was no benefit." She tilted her head and said with some doubt, "Dad, do you think highly of him?" "I think he's just average." Li Hongyuan gave a helpless smile. Before coming here, he had investigated Wang Yu very thoroughly. Can an ordinary person casually improve a formula to give Jiangcheng another bathhouse with an income of millions per year? Can an ordinary person catch the eye of the Su family's young lady who stays away from men? If it weren't for what happened that year, that made Wang Yu's parents retreat into seclusion, the Wang family now would at least not be inferior to the famous Su family in Jiangcheng. As for this junior, Wang Yu, you just need to know he's a fool sitting on a mountain of gold without realizing it. His future achievements will not be less than yours in the Xia family's villa district. Now do you know why at the beginning I tried so hard to match you and Wang Yu? Zhang Shuqin sat on the sofa, looking at her daughter with an expression of disappointment, revealing the truth of the matter. The Wang family did our Xia family a favor. It was with great difficulty that she arranged this marriage. I didn't expect it to go down the drain. You truly don't have the fate to enjoy wealth. It's destined that you won't receive this immense fortune. Xia Sifei, with a haggard expression, stood frozen on the spot. She laughed self-deprecatingly. Her last bit of self-esteem was completely crushed. It turns out it wasn't Wang Yu punching above his weight for her, but her punching above her weight for Wang Yu. "Why didn't you tell me these things at the beginning, Mom?" Mother Zhang snorted coldly. "Don't you know how arrogant you are? If I had told you these things, could you and Wang Yu have had 3 years of peace?" Xia Sifei dazedly went upstairs. This was too great of a blow for her. "Don't expect to recover without a certain amount of time." Zhang Shuqin sighed as she looked at her retreating figure. Rooftop of Qingshen Fashion Company, Jiang City. As a recently emerging fashion brand, it has its own unique style. It has hundreds of branches, and this is the result of Su Qing'enhu's tireless efforts day and night for 3 years. Although the help of her family was indispensable for the company to reach such a scale, was also closely related to her abilities. Su Qing'enhu frowned and pinched Wang Yu's face. Pointing at the bank card on the table, she said through gritted teeth, "Hurry up and tell me where this 200,000 came from. If you want money, I can give it to you. But Wang Yu, why did you have to sell your body?" I was incredibly annoyed inside. I swatted her claws away. I glared and said, I already told you, I earned this with my own abilities. It's thanks to your young master's, medical skills. Alright, I was just teasing you. I know my Wang Yu is the best. What's earning 200,000? You can earn even more in the future. Her tone was as if she were coaxing a child. Forget it, you go ahead and be busy. I'm going downstairs to buy some milk tea. After speaking, I turned and left the office. After I left, the atmosphere in the office suddenly changed. Su Qing'enhu looked coldly at her secretary. Continue reporting on the current project's progress. Oh yes. The dazed secretary finally came to her senses. She hurriedly got into work mode. For a moment, she felt a little jealous of Wang Yu. If CEO Su treated her with that same attitude just now, then she wouldn't have to be on pins and needles every day, afraid of making a mistake and getting fired. It would be great if CEO Su liked women. That way, she might even have a chance. Dusk fell. After finishing the last document, Su Qing'enhu comfortably stretched. Her charming figure was fully revealed, attracting all eyes. Although she came from a wealthy family, she wasn't like the young ladies from other clans who frequented high-end restaurants and luxury stores every day. In comparison, work interested her more. Of course, there was one other thing that interested her even more. Su Qing'enhu's gaze shifted towards the black, genuine leather sofa not far away. More precisely, it was me, lying on the sofa scrolling through videos. The table was covered with leftover snack bags from me. This guy has been glued to his phone all afternoon. Could the phone possibly be more attractive than her? Su Qing'enhu stood up and pulled me out of the office. Let's go, Dr. Wang earned a lot of money. Treat me to something delicious. Having my hand held, I suddenly felt a bit regretful for showing off earlier. This woman is so rich. She definitely only eats delicious food. She's not trying to take this opportunity to eat up all my money, is she? No, it could be even more vicious. One meal could put me in debt, and I'd have to pay her back for the rest of my life. Let me say this first. I can't afford to treat you to anything too expensive. Besides, you run such a big company and make so much money. Shouldn't you be the one treating me? I decisively turned the tables. Unexpectedly, Su Qing'enhu turned back and gave a mysterious smile. Haven't I already let you have a little taste? Could it be that you're still not satisfied? I don't mind finding a hotel to continue what we didn't finish last time. I quickly coughed twice. I really can't handle a woman with max-level flirting skills like this. Ill treat. No matter how expensive, ill treat, okay? At this hour, there were still quite a few people working overtime at the company. When they saw Su Qing'enhu and Wang Yu hand in hand, acting intimately, everyone's jaws dropped in astonishment. A sense of loss enveloped their hearts. Is this still the CEO Su they regarded as a goddess, who could only be admired from afar and never touched? Hey, what's with that sweet smile of hers? Su Qing'enhu didn't know what they were thinking. Even if she knew, she wouldn't care. She never intended to hide her relationship with Wang Yu in the first place. 6:30 in the evening, Su Qing'enhu and I arrived at the snack street in the university town. After getting out of the car, I pointed at each crowded food stall, the corner of my mouth twitching. Is this the delicious food you were talking about? Su Qing'enhu linked her arm through mine again, blinking her eyes. What's wrong? Can't you afford it? Hearing that, I glared. Do I look like a stingy man? If others found out that I, Wang Yu, couldn't even afford to treat someone to snacks, how could I face the world in the future? I immediately waved my hand generously. Pick whatever you want to eat. Whether it runs on land, swims in the river, or flies in the sky, it'll pay for it all. Seeing me like this, Su Qing'enhu smiled and said nothing. Actually, controlling a man is very simple. Just treat him like a child. For example, occasionally give him a chance to act cool. Su Qing'enhu linked her arm with Wang Yu's, looking around at the endless delicious food. The cravings in her stomach had long been awakened. She quickly made her choices. 3 years abroad had made her stomach suffer quite a bit. Today, she definitely had to make up for it. And so, very quickly, I was draped with all sorts of snacks and the number was still steadily increasing. Looking at Su Qing'enhu's state, it was clear she intended to eat up the entire street. I didn't disturb her enthusiasm and patiently followed along. Looking at the profile of the person next to me always stirred my heart. Just as Wang Yu was lost in the moment, he quickly noticed something was wrong. I don't know since when, a group of people had appeared not far in front of and behind them. Without waiting for me to warn her, Su Qing'enhu beside me had already stopped walking. These people stopped at a distance of 10 meters from the two of them. Only then did I get a clear look at them. Alarm bells rang in my head. I silently shielded Su Qing'enhu. I saw that these people were wearing black uniforms, wearing masks that covered their faces, as if they didn't want anyone to remember them. They were holding weapons in their hands, exactly like villains in a movie. It was obvious they didn't come with good intentions. One of them stepped forward. It was a man wearing a baseball cap. He spoke in a hoarse voice, his eyes gloomy. Good evening. Miss Su, could we invite you to come with us? Personally, I don't like using violence. If you can be obedient, you can also suffer less. It's better for both of us.